All right, good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the January 9th meeting of the Granby Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll do a commission check-in in alternate seating. So my name is Mark Lockwood. I'm the commission chair. I'm going to my left.
Eric Myers, Vice Chair.
Bob Lavitt, Commissioner.
Steve Muller, Commissioner.
I have some commissioners on Zoom.
Paula Johnson, alternate. Christine Cheney, Commissioner.
And I don't think Eric signed on yet. We're expecting maybe another one, but we're going to be seating Paula for Brennan Shahan this evening. Next is public session. Does anyone wish to speak to the commission about an item not on the agenda or subject to a public hearing? Please come forward. Anyone on Zoom? See anyone? Do you see anyone, Abby? I think we're good. Okay, no public session being seen. We will close public session. Next, item number 5, action on the minutes of December the 12th. I was not here, but I did review them and see the tape. They seem good to me, but I'll let the commissioners that were here, any comments?
I thought they were.
Good to me.
I thought they were fine.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Paula. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstained? I will abstain. Minutes are approved. Next is public hearings. We have 3 public hearings on the agenda this evening. I will announce that item number C, which was an application for one lot subdivision on 200 K Street, that has been withdrawn, correct, Abby?
Yes.
So we only have 2 public hearings this evening. The first public hearing will be an application for a special permit for changing restaurant hours on 7 Mill Pond Drive. Commissioner Myers, you could please read the call to the hearing.
There will be a public hearing conducted by the P&Z on Tuesday, January 9, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Granby Town Hall Meeting Room, 15 North Granby Road, to hear and consider the following items. Application seeking a modification to a special permit under zoning regulations sections 8.3, 8.16, 8.21 to change restaurant hours of operation, and under zoning regulations section 8.6.14 for an illuminated building sign for property located at 7 Mill Pond Drive, Suite C, C2 zone, file Z-23-23. At the hearing, interested persons may appear and written communications will be received. Copies of the proposals are on file in the Community Development Office.
Is the applicant or the representative here? Please come forward. Just, good. Just introduce yourself, name and address for the record, please.
Yep. My name is Stefan Drago. I'm looking to open Drago's Kitchen at 7 Mill Pond Drive in Granby.
Okay. Just before you start, Abby, just to let you have in your staff memo, there's an existing restaurant here, existing special permit, but this is specifically for extending the hours and for the illuminated sign, correct?
Correct.
Just want to give us a little, I know we have information you sent into staff, but if you just give us a little background of what you're looking
Yeah,
to do.
absolutely. My background, I'm a chef. I've been a chef for 20 plus years, and I'm looking to kind of fine tune my craft and finally open my own place. I'm looking to do breakfast, lunch, and also do special events, do catering at night on and off premise. We have a place that'll be empty at night, and I think it'd be nice to do community events, whether it's birthday parties or rehearsal dinners, anything that people in town would like to host an event. As far as breakfast, I'm looking to do elevated comfort food, all your traditionals, and I'm going to make my twist and make them the best you ever had in local stuff.
Maybe, since we're looking at the hours, you want to explain a little bit about your...
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be open right now. I'm looking to do Tuesday through Sunday, eventually moving into 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm going to, kind of get a feel for the area and the town, but, 6 to 2 is my proposed opening hours right now. And then as far as events, whatever people are looking to host, if it's a birthday party from, 5 to 8 or 5 to 9 p.m., then that would be the hours of the events. Again, I'm not looking to do an event space. I'm not looking to have, a ton of parties. It's really, if people are looking to host something, they don't want to cook at home. I'd like to be able to be open for that. I believe in the proposal I went to about 10 p.m. or something, 11. It's really event pending. I would assume most events are probably in the dinner time hours.
Did you have a?
Yeah, I just want to clarify too. So when it comes to event slash banquet facility type use, this would be accessory to the restaurant. So as long as the restaurant continues to operate and this is just kind of ancillary to that, I would not have a problem with it under the current regulations. I just want to clarify that because I do anticipate in the near future there might be a discussion from a person looking to open an event facility. So I just want to make sure that the commission is comfortable with that distinction.
The core is that this is a restaurant.
Right.
That's what the
Correct.
special permit is.
Just
and this is
hosting private parties.
This is accessory to the restaurant.
Correct.
You're not just going to do events, you're going to have a
No,
restaurant.
it's going to be full service breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
And I just would like to be able to I have an extensive catering background and I enjoy doing that, so I'd like to do some special events.
Do you anticipate with the restaurant, and you don't have to, this isn't, you don't have to, but would you someday say, would you maybe want to open for dinner or stay open longer?
Stay open longer, yes. I would consider on, if Fridays and Saturdays are really busy and I find that later crowd, people coming out for a late lunch, would I consider staying open till, 4 maybe, but I'm not looking to do dinner.
Okay.
If at some point, would I open another venture and focus on a dinner concept? Possibly. But I'm not really looking to do that.
The reason I asked that, and like other commissioners on Zoom can chime in as well, and I'll let you get into the sign too, is that, when we do a permit, and Abby will correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be your hours of operation. We're not,
Yeah.
it says it's accessory use, it's for a restaurant. So it would be for those hours, you could be a restaurant.
Correct.
So we're not going to say you can only do events because it's, as she said, it's an accessory. So your core is going to be a restaurant. So
Right.
we're looking at it, of your hours of operation, you could be operating as a restaurant.
Yep.
And once we made the approval, if we didn't approve it until 10, I assume if he decided to do dinner, he could do dinner till 10.
Right.
So, I mean, it's,
Yeah, so just to clarify too, so the current special permit that's in place for the property, the hours of operation are from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So in the narrative, the applicant is requesting moving that earlier, so 5:30 a.m., and then extending it an hour later to 11 p.m. So it's already has the ability to be open until 10. So it's accommodating the earlier side for breakfast and then pushing it an hour later.
Gotcha.
Explain a little bit to us about, since we're also looking at the sign, we'll still have questions from the commission, so explain a little bit about the sign to us.
Yeah, so the sign, we changed it actually from illuminated to front lit, but it's just going to be literally the logo. It's 2 knives crossed. Underneath it, Drago's Kitchen. The Drago's, I believe, is in red, and underneath the kitchen would be in black.
And your lighting's going to be,
It's overlit, yeah. There's one like flood lamp that's hanging, that's over over an empty spot right now, but that's where the lighting's gonna come from.
you said you were looking at the commission, we've had some nice signs in town. I think Vice Chairman Myers, you would agree, we've had some nice backlit signs in town. Did you consider that at one point?
I did, it was a cost thing, and they already had the light there, so it was like double the price for a fully, backlit sign.
So all the lighting there.
What's that?
Signage, all the lighting there is currently.
The lighting's currently there, so it was a simple pivot for me. All I have to do is make sure the light works.
Understood.
Any concerns on the sign and lighting?
No concerns. Nope, it does comply with the maximum area allowed, which is 24 square feet.
And the lighting's downward facing,
Correct.
so not going, okay.
No,
Lights
it's down.
back, okay.
Yep, it comes from the top of the building.
Unless you have something else, I'll open up to the commissioners, including Zoom. Anybody has questions for the applicant, please feel free.
Nothing for me.
I've got no problem with the morning. Does anyone have a feeling about going from 10 to 11?
No issue. No issue with me.
Okay. Okay.
Commissioner Cheney?
I don't see that's an issue, nor do I.
Eric's joined us too, so just make sure, you know, that Commissioner Lukenbiel is with us. Hope you're feeling well, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Feeling a little better, yeah.
Any questions about the sign?
No?
Yeah, looks good.
Looks beautiful.
Okay. If you don't have anything to add, we'll open it up to the public and you can come back.
Okay.
Does any member of the public wish to speak about this application? Please come forward. Anyone on Zoom? Don't see anyone else, so I'll just leave if there's anything further you need to add.
I'm good.
Anything from staff? Commission? Or Zoom? I don't have anything else, so if we're good, we'll
Thank you for your time.
we'll close the public hearing. The commission has up to 65 days to come to a decision, but we will be discussing this on the agenda later this evening. If you
Okay.
want to stay around or not.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is application for a special permit for a restaurant to serve alcohol beverages for property at 518 Salmon Brook. Vice Chair Myers, could you please read the call to the hearing?
There will be a public hearing conducted by the P&Z on Tuesday, January 9, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Granby Town Hall Meeting Room, 15 North Granby Road, to hear and consider the following items. Application seeking a special permit under zoning regulations, section 8.3 and 8.16 for a restaurant serving alcoholic beverages for property located at 518 Salmon Brook Street, Suite 8 and 9, I-Zone, file Z-24-23. At the hearing, interested persons may appear and written communications will be received. Copies of the proposals are on file in the Community Development Office.
Is the applicant or the representative here? Just let us know your name and address, please.
My name is Logan Sanchez. I'm here to speak for 518 Brook Sullivan and Granby.
Before you get going, just Abby, there's an existing restaurant here, but it's expanding.
Correct.
And so we're looking at the expansion and alcoholic beverages.
Yes. Yep.
Maybe just explain to us a little bit about what your plans are and what you're thinking of doing.
So we're trying to open from 11 in the morning to 10 at night. We're doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We want to add alcohol too because we think that will be a great experience for people to come in, have a drink, maybe go to work, come get out of work, come get a drink. We want to put a little bit of Mexico into it since there's not a lot of Mexican restaurants here.
What's you're making the restaurant, you want to explain a little bit about what you're doing to expand the restaurant from the current, you're using two of the suites, correct, Abby?
Yes.
Maybe just explain a little bit to us about what you're doing.
So currently we're working with what we have. So for the first section, which is 9, which has all the functioning units, has the booth, tables. We want to do like how people enter, but the other side we want to do parties, like bigger people, to like have bigger tables, have more space there. And we just want to have the kitchen, the base, and the first place, preparation on top. We were gonna do on the bottom, but we don't have the construction for that yet, so we want to work with the top. We were told we could work with the top and then go from there.
You need by the top.
Like the preparation, because we have a bottom section. It looks like really big, and they told us to fence it around. So they told us that we could work with the top and do our preparation there since it's all clean and everything, and then not use the bottom at all.
So just to clarify, you're referring to the basement area?
Yes, that we
Okay.
don't want to use.
Okay.
So yes, so there are 2 suites, 8 and 9. One was formerly Tony Ann's, which has the existing kitchen which they're working to renovate. The second space was the karate studio, so you're looking to open up the wall between them. And then there's a basement that you have access to through the karate studio that runs under both units. So right now you're just looking at using
Just the
the
top.
first floor, if you will, or the ground floor for the restaurant, bar area, And then the karate studio would be the dining room area.
So there's no public down in the basements or storage or whatever.
No.
And then explain again your hours you're looking at?
From 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
You mentioned breakfast
Yes.
in 11. Would suit you, you would want to ask for something more, maybe more expansive. It doesn't mean you have to be open.
We were still looking at like breakfast, so we don't know exactly where. We're not sure yet on the hours for breakfast. We have our hours for lunch and dinner.
Well, so I would recommend, yeah, you ask us for a long period that covers the entire morning.
You don't have to be, as
Don't
you
have to
said,
be
you
open.
don't have to be open then, but you have the permission to be open.
Like the previous applicant asked for, 5:30 to 11,
Okay.
for example.
And you don't have to use those hours, but at least it's available to you if you'd like to be open earlier.
Because if you don't
If
ask
you
for
don't
them
ask for it
now,
now, you'll have to come,
You'll
if
have-
you decide you want to expand it, you'd have to come back to us. So if you think you might want it, you should think about requesting it as part of this application. Now, as part of this application.
Okay.
So if you wanted to serve breakfast in the future, you don't have to, what would you want to be open, would you think, for breakfast?
for the early morning crew,
We could say from 9 to like maybe
I mean,
1.
I don't want to leave you until an answer is, a lot of, the last applicant who had breakfast was going to be 5:30 in the morning, but breakfast is usually earlier. So, I don't know what the commission thinks, but some breakfast, 6 a.m. I don't want to lead you into a decision, and you don't have to decide today, but I think the commission is saying if you're interested in breakfast, we entertain giving you hours for that period if you so desire.
What were the hours you were thinking of?
What are your hours?
Paul, did you have something?
That's up to you. It kind of, for a business plan, to give you more hours makes a lot of sense because you don't have to use those hours. But if you ever decide you're going to start breakfast at 7:30 or 7 or 6:30 or 6, you have approval to do it. You don't have to come back to us again. So it just gives you that option to use those hours if you wish to for breakfast, but you don't have to.
I think what the chairman might be thinking, because he's a working stiff like me. If we were going to get breakfast, we would have to get it on our way to our job. And so we would want it to be earlier than 9. I think Mr. Chairman, without putting words in your mouth, and I think the lecture
Yes.
as well.
Correct, Commissioner Cheney, thank you.
I can't sleep past 5:30. I'm usually out the door by 6.
Yeah. If we're considering approving one restaurant from 5:30 to 11 PM, we might as well,
That works for me.
Okay, perfect.
Good choice.
On the expansion, Abby, we have a site plan. Just ask for it. Is the site plan with the amount of tables and parking spaces, does that meet the regulations?
Yes.
Because there seems to be a lot of parking there, and
Yes.
the amount of seating there is,
Yeah,
so that there's no concern with the expansion for parking.
that's correct. Yeah, there's ample parking on site.
And is there going to be a bar in this location? You're going to have a bar?
Yes, we want to put it in section 9.
And is the seating and arrangement for the bar, Abby, meet the square footage?
Yes, so as shown on the floor plan that was provided, the bar area would be about 130 square feet, which is just under 6% of the floor area of the restaurant, which is 2,200 square feet. And the regulations allow up to 15%, so they're well within that. So the bar area would comply.
Just from the site plan, the bar looks small to me.
Yeah, so it's, when you walk into the space, it's towards the right of the former Tony Ann's. So yeah, you can see there's seating for, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stools around it.
Yep.
It looks like there's 2 high tops and 8 seats around the bar.
Yeah, so the high tops, that doesn't count towards the bar area and the
Okay.
booths on that side.
Mm-hmm.
So the bar area, it's the area that encompasses the bar and then a 3-foot aisle behind the stools, which is how the regulation is drafted. But yeah.
So we don't have a type of license, but so you know, if we do approve alcohol beverages, you still have to go through liquor commission and meet their regulations.
Yes.
Because they have different types of permits for that. So we don't give you any indication of that. We're just approving whether or not you can sell them. Does the commission have any questions about that piece of it? No. The access between the 2 restaurants is in the back, the patrons. Is that, I see you have a hole in the, or knocked out the wall.
But just past the bar? That's the access? Okay. But the main entrance will be in the left side, the bar area.
There's another exit.
Yeah, so from the outside, the restaurant won't look any different. It's still gonna look like the 2 storefronts, so there's no changes to
Okay.
windows or doors or anything. All the changes are basically on the inside, to fit it out for the restaurant. And our building official and fire marshal, met with the applicant on site. I went with them as well to review the space. So they're in the process of reviewing the building permit for this. And I know the applicant has also been working with the Farmington Valley Health District.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? And we'll get a couple questions.
No.
Anything else? Okay. Does commissioners, I'll start in the room here. Any questions to the applicant?
I don't. No, I don't.
When
Any
do you
commission-
anticipate opening?
What was that?
When do you anticipate opening?
We're hoping by the end of this month, but we're not sure yet because we're waiting on your approval.
Okay. Any commissioners on Zoom have any questions, comments?
I don't have any questions. I just want to commend the applicant for giving us really good drawings that really give us an idea of what you envision. So I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
No question.
No questions.
If you have anything further, we'll let's see if any of the public wants to speak, and then we'll let you finish the closing remarks. Does any of the public wish to speak about this application? Anyone on Zoom? I don't see anyone on Zoom or in the public. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
So if that's nothing with commission online, that's the case, then we're going to close the public hearing, and the commission has 65 days to make a decision, but we'll be discussing it here in a little bit here later on the agenda. You have to hang around.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, as I said, item C on the agenda has been withdrawn. So next on the agenda is item 7. We have received applications and scheduled public hearings. I see you have 2 here. One was for a solar, ground-mounted solar, and the other was for some storage and commercial activity. You want to let us know what these are about?
Yes, so the first application is a special permit for a ground mount solar energy system for 200 Simsbury Road. They have submitted to the Wetlands Commission as well because that is within their regulated area. And the second application is a site plan modification and special permit for 563 Salmonbrook Street. This is for some additional outdoor storage structures and some commercial activity and display outside, which does require commission approval. I believe this property was actually brought up perhaps at another meeting, and there were some questions about activities there. So he is now submitting an application to come into compliance with the regulations. So both of those applications, I would recommend having the hearing open on February 27th. For 200 Simsbury Road, Wetlands is going to be considering it at February 14th, and the commission can't act until Wetlands reviews in case there are any changes. And then for 563 Salmonbrook Street, I'd like an opportunity to work with the applicant on his materials in a little bit more detail before that's presented to you folks.
That's within the guidelines, with 65 days to open the hearing, so.
Yes.
I don't have any issue, 27th, that's our second meeting, so no one on the commission has an objection. We'll set both of those hearings for the 27th of February. All right. Next on the agenda is consideration of applications. We've concluded the public hearing. Commission has closed 2 public hearings tonight. We'll start first with the first hearing we closed, which was for the extended hours and the sign for 7 Mill Pond Drive. I will start, and I don't see any issue with having the operation open earlier or stay open an hour later. And I think the sign, with the downward lighting and the rest of the signs in that location, the staff said it's within the regulation. I think it's consistent, but we'll open it up to commission discussion. No questions.
And I have no issues with this. I mean, it's in questions either. It's in a shopping center and
Existing restaurant.
replacing existing restaurant.
Vacant
It's
space.
not real close to residential, so it's not, I don't see it as a problem.
Any commissioners on Zoom, any comments?
I just want to echo what was said. I'm happy to see somebody wanting to move into that space. It's already been, there have been 2 restaurants there previously. It's nothing new in terms of the neighbors or the area. I think it's great. I wish the applicant all good luck.
I echo Chris's sentiments. It's been empty much too long. I think it's wonderful that young Granby person's coming back to start a restaurant in Granby.
Eric got something?
Is he gone?
Are you waiting for me?
I didn't know.
Sorry, I had already said that I agreed with Commissioner Chinny's comments, and I also agree with Commissioner Johnson's.
There we go.
Here we go.
Then I will entertain a motion to approve the application.
So I will offer a motion that we approve the application seeking a modification to a special permit under zoning regulations, section 8.3, 8.16, and 8.21 to change restaurant hours of operation from 5:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. and to add an illuminated building sign as detailed in the January 4th, 2024 memorandum from the Director of Community Development to the Planning and Zoning Commission for property located at 7 Mill Pond Drive.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the application as read. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Okay, next is we close the public hearing seeking for expansion of a restaurant and also to serve alcoholic beverages at 518 Salmon Brook. We did, as we discussed in the public hearing, talked about the hours of operation, and I believe the applicant was open to having those hours extended, similar to the last restaurant that we just approved. And if I understand the commission correctly, we were going to be saying 5:30 to 11?
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I didn't see any objections to the site plan, the restaurant plan, or the alcoholic beverage addition. Any comments from the commissioners at the table here or online?
Nothing. Again, I mean, it's in a shopping mall. It's not real close to residential areas. It's replacing an existing restaurant. The other Mexican restaurant in town has a liquor permit, so, you know, it wouldn't really be fair to say we're not giving it to this one.
And it's another area, like I said before, that's vacant and needs to be filled.
Yeah, that karate studio has been empty for years, so
Yeah.
I'm fine with this. It's good.
I feel the same way about this as I do about the other application. I'm happy to see the space filled with a restaurant and a restaurant that looks like, you know, a new and exciting possibility for us. So I couldn't be happier.
Neither could I.
Paula, it looks like you were going to say something? You're on mute.
You're you, Paula.
She's still on you.
It's going to be a new ad like the old "Can you hear me now?"
Here she is.
I'm very sorry. sorry, you didn't realize. I'm in accord with both Chris and Eric. I think this is a great opportunity, and I wish them all the luck in the world.
And Abby, from staff standpoint, as we discussed, they're within regulation for parking, the bar space, and so there's no concerns from staff.
Correct.
Very good, then I will entertain a motion for the amended hours in the application, if we can get one.
Well, then I'll offer a motion that we approve an application seeking a special permit under zoning regulation section 8.3 and 8.16 for a restaurant serving alcoholic beverages for property located at 518 Salmon Brook Street. Hours of operation will be from 5:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Restaurant and bar area square footage and site plan to be sized as detailed in the December 27, 2024 memorandum from the Director of Community Development to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Did you note the 5:30 to 11?
I did.
We did.
Okay, good, sorry.
Yeah, we have the 5:30 to 11 and the alcoholic beverage. So we have a motion from Commissioner Myers, who second?
Either one. Yep.
Commissioner.
I did.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, motion carries. I wish good luck to both of the applicants as they proceed with restaurants. Good luck. Okay, next on our agenda is an informal discussion for 254, 256 Salmon Street, proposed multifamily residential and office use. That applicant is the informal hearing person here. Got told I can't say applicants. And just before we get started, this is an informal discussion. There is nothing before the commission. There's no application. There's no zoning regulation changes. This is just a discussion from an interested party, which the commission does from time to time to exchange some ideas. If anything were to take place, the interested party would have to come back and go through the formal application process, and depending what it is, requires the appropriate public hearings and comment section. With that, introduce yourself.
Sure. Good evening, John Pagliaro, 19 D Street South, West Granby, owner of 254, 256 Salmon Brook Street. And again, to your point here, to have a preliminary discussion around my plan for the proposed property.
Yeah, so if you just, again, and then the commission may ask you some questions, just
Sure.
some dialogue. Again, nothing's binding here tonight, just getting at your idea. So why don't you explain to the commission what you're thinking about doing, and also, I believe your initial thought process is, you might want to look for a zone change in the future to commercial center, is that correct?
Correct, yeah, from center edge to commercial center. Yeah, so let's start with the house. So my goal is to keep the aesthetics of the house intact with the ambience of Granby Center, only to improve the inside and exterior of the home. If you look closer at the home, you have some deteriorating siding, the roof needs to be repaired, it needs a complete exterior paint job. What I would like to do here is to make this into a 3-unit structure. And under the current zone, it's not allowed to do that because I need 8 acres, and I have 1.59 acres on this. It's made up of 2 parcels. There's a print shop to the left of this building, and then there's a garage in the back. I can go to the next slide.
Catherine, do you mind? Thank you.
So this is how the existing house lays out today, and on the next slide, I've kind of separated how I want the units to appear. The deep purple or blue, I guess, to the left, that small space where it says add exterior door would be an entrance, and that unit would be on the upper floor, which I can show you next. But the yellow area would be unit 1 with a back entrance in the rear near the garage, and then the light blue would be unit 3. That's the upper existing layout today. And then these would be the additional units. So there's a total of 3. Yeah.
3 units.
So John, one of the units, it would be 2 stories, correct?
Correct, yes, yes. Yep.
So the yellow
Yeah.
one is 2 stories.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And if you go to the previous one on the first floor, it, and I don't know, but it does appear like this area here, there's an existing kitchenette. I don't know at one point in time if there was 2 families in there, but that does exist there today. There's plumbing for it, and it looks like it was separated at one point in time, but there's no firewalls or anything.
Mhm.
So, you can go to the garage. My plan for the garage, under the current zone, I believe, under special permit, I can apply for office space, and I want to convert the building, add windows, add interior, exterior door to the unit. And I have an applicant, she's my wife, who runs a speech and language business and would like to put her office here. You can go to the next slide. This is the existing layout based on kind of what we've talked about. Having 2 offices and a waiting room with a half bath and a kitchenette. And then on the upper floor, I would like to add an efficiency apartment within just an open loft concept with a 1 bedroom and a kitchenette. You can go to the next slide. And on the print shop, I've had 3 inquiries for retail/service business. I don't actually have a tenant there yet, but the zone change would allow me to basically expand my use there as well. And my plans, again, add HVAC, redo the entire building on the inside and the outside to all the structures. I have Brian Deno layout parking associated with the uses. Any questions?
Commissioners?
So a few questions. I remember right, if I remember correctly from the last time you
Yes.
came, I think our interpretation of the existing zone probably would have allowed you to do what your wife wanted to do in that one structure there.
Correct.
As a derivative of one of the already allowed uses.
Correct.
And then so for the other building, not the house right now, the one that you want to offer up for some sort of other business type use, you're just looking for a zone change potentially to have some other uses than what's allowed in the center edge zone.
Correct, just because it's limited to what I can do there. And at one point in time, I believe, and it's still under vision appraisal coded 3220, which is store/shop. And that still exists today, but I don't know if that's grandfathered in, so that's a question I have.
I'd have to look at that in more detail.
That's the print shop building?
Correct, yes.
So regarding the potential consideration for some housing options, including multifamily, I'll just start with me. I would love to see the property put to some sort of beneficial use. It abuts a residential zone, so, correct, Abby? So it seems like residential use next to a residential zone seems reasonable to me. All I can say is that I would have an open mind if an actual application comes before me.
Okay.
And just to, so it abuts the center edge zone where single family is a permitted use.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Bob, Steve?
I kind of agree. I'd like to see some sort of use out of the building, and it is next to a residential zone.
My memory is the last time this was in front of us, we were favorably inclined to permitting the wife's use. But I don't remember a discussion, I mean, the proposal was just to move it from one zone to another. I don't remember a discussion about cutting up the house into,
There wasn't.
there wasn't.
Yeah. The last proposal, there was an ask to change the zone, but there was no use put in front of us to consider
Correct.
the ask. So we just chose to table it until a use came before us. And I suppose a residential use is now a use, so it's better
Right.
defined in my eyes.
Yeah.
As last time it was just an ask for the art of the possibility.
And I'll let our online commissioners come on too, just if this is a zone change, right, and Abby will correct me, the applicant can come in with this, but if it's a zone change, then anything that's in that zone is allowed. It doesn't, we can't restrict it to this plan, correct?
Correct.
So I'm looking at it, and I wasn't here for the last session, but I'm looking at this, if you're changing to the commercial center, I might like this, might not, but if say I do like this, I have to think in my mind, well, it could be anything that's in the commercial center, because you're not asking for a regulation change, you're looking for a zone change. So that's where I have to be looking at it. So this, I also want to let the commissioners know that that's,
Yeah.
you can't predicate the zone change on, if we change the zone, then you will do this.
Agreed.
It could be anything else.
So the next owner could,
Or current.
Or the
Yeah.
applicant can become an applicant now, so.
right.
I believe some of that falls under special permit still though, like.
Correct. Yep. So in the commercial center zone, 2 uses are allowed by right: professional/professional business/professional offices and restaurant limited seating. So those are the 2 permitted uses. And then everything else is by special permit. So the commission would have the ability to obviously review an application. And even those permitted uses would still likely require site plan approval for the parking.
Agreed.
I just want to add, I'll let, I'm looking at the board here, Paul, I'll go left to right from where I'm looking at this. Paul, if you have some questions, comments?
Yeah, I'm not confused, but I'm kind of not sure what the applicant is asking for. I understand this plan, I think the plan looks good. I have no problems with, apartment/home being used that way, right next door to homes. But because you can't do that in that zone, we're right back where we were before. Unless we go and say, make an amendment to the center zone saying that homes can be put into apartments in that zone.
So
You have to live in the house in order to have an apartment, right?
in the center common zone,
Yeah.
can do what is being potentially proposed, correct? By special permit.
So in the commercial center zone, so the property is currently center edge. In the commercial center zone, what is being proposed here tonight would require a special permit,
What could be done under special
by
permit,
special permit.
In the
Yes.
commercials, not in the center edge.
Correct,
but in the commercial
in
side.
the commercial center.
So he could do it then.
Yes.
Not in the current zone.
Not in the current zone.
Correct.
Not in the current zone.
Correct.
With a special permit.
Yeah.
I
We're kind of in the same place we were before.
So my question is, what other uses would this change allow? Because as Paula points out, if we change the zone, it's in a new zone. So then any permitted use in that zone would be a permitted use on that property. Which I think is kind of where, I'm kind of remembering it the same way Paula is. So kind of where we got hung up last time. So what other uses would we be granting to that property if we made this zone change?
Yep, so there, when you look at the section 3.12.1, the commercial center zone, and section 3.12.3, you can see the various permitted uses and special permit uses. So first, if this were to change to the commercial center zone, single-family dwellings would no longer be permitted by right. So you'd just be looking at business/professional offices, restaurant limited seating. Whereas now in the center edge zone, single family ag, home occupations, and government buildings are allowed by right. So you'd be opening up to offices by right and restaurants. It's really when it comes to the special permit uses where there are differences. So in the commercial center zone, it would open the property up. Again, this is all by special permit. Retail sales, which is not currently allowed by special permit in the center edge zone. What else?
I don't think restaurants are in the center of the zone either, right?
Right, yep, restaurants, commercial, educational, instructional, and recreational services, movie theaters, museums, galleries, performing arts would be allowed there by special permit. Personal service establishments, so like a, salon or barber shop, something like that would be allowed by special permit. So again, more of the commercial uses, as the name would imply, whereas the center edge, it's, more of a transition between commercial and residential, if you will. So it's, a less focus on commercial. And again, the biggest difference, for this applicant and his proposal is the multifamily. So in the center edge, you need at least 8 acres. And in the commercial center, there is no minimum lot size for multifamily.
Eric, you haven't had a chance. You have a question, Eric?
Okay, Paula asked a question that I had. I would say I've got an open mind on all this stuff.
I'll go back. I think commission's interested, and I think where we may be struggling is this. We look at this, it also opens the special permit for all the other uses Abby just said. Is there a way that if an applicant came in, could they do a text amendment in the center edge?
They could, yes, they could do a text amendment for the center edge. So that would be, some provision regarding the multifamily and the requirement that it have at least 8 acres. But again, then that would apply to the entire center edge zone.
Commissioner, have any thoughts about that?
It seems safer to change one lot than change the entire center edge line. Just my thought.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because we don't know what else is out there without doing a more exhaustive analysis.
I would not change the whole, I agree with, I think it was Commissioner Myers who said it. I think if we're going to go down this road for this particular property, which I agree is in kind of a unique position and location, I would much rather make a change that applies only to this property than change the center edge rules. I don't think that's a good idea.
I agree.
And there's nothing from ZBA that we could, for the 8 acres.
So it's a good question. You could request a variance, but you have to show that there's a hardship.
Yeah, hardship's a hard.
And this is,
It's the really.
in my opinion,
Yeah,
there's no hardship.
Yeah.
Abby, with the historic overlay zone, if we were to go to a center commons, or commercial center, excuse me, what is there that we would be, as a commission, able to say? I mean, the applicant said he wants to keep, not applicant, the property owner, pardon me, comes, says he wants to keep the character, but if we went there, how do we protect the historic face of the buildings for Sandbrook Street, so somebody doesn't come in and say, well, now I can put a restaurant and I want to put an Applebee's there and not have this building? Is there anything in the historic overlay that protects that for the commission approvals?
No, I mean, other than it's by a special permit, so it'd have to come in with a design. And I would think that if they're looking for approval, they would design something that's in keeping with
Right. Okay, so we have that ability in the special permit. That's kind of where the special permit process can go that way. I think from what I heard, the commission, I think, if I'm hearing right, it's, you guys are,
Open-minded.
yeah, open-minded.
Yep.
Is that fair to say to commissioners online?
Yeah, so I understand what the applicant's kind of trying to do, and I certainly am not, I think he should proceed under our process.
Paula, you have lots of experience, so what do you think?
Oh, my. I just wish that, we could make a decision where if we did that, that this was what we would get. So that's always my worry. But I have an open mind.
I have an open mind as well.
So I think, that the commission's open to it, it's gotta be, if we do anything, it has to be done right, so I don't think that gives you, do you have any other questions of us, or we answer,
No, not at the moment.
having anything else?
No.
Well, thank you for presenting it.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, next is item number 10, Commissioner CROG representative. Abby, I know this came up probably a year or two ago in the last session, but you want to explain about the CROG process, especially since we have some new members here?
Yes. So CROG is looking for a representative from all planning commissions within
And
their.
CROGs are, maybe,
Yes, I'm sorry. So CROG is the Capital Region Council of Governments. So all municipalities within the Hartford region belong to CROG, and they're a main pass-through for transportation funding, other grant programs. We also refer all of our zoning regulation changes to them for review. And that's where the Regional Planning Commission comes into play. So that is a commission that is made up of commissioners from the various planning commissions. They review in part, the referrals that come in to make sure that all of the regulation changes are consistent with the state plan of conservation and development and their planning documents. So they're looking for a member to be appointed from this commission and perhaps an alternative if someone is so inclined. They meet 4 times a year, and I did include their schedule for 2024. So you'll see there's a March, June, September, and November meeting. It's all on Zoom, so they don't require in-person attendance anymore.
Oh, good.
So,
Good.
so it's a good opportunity to, stay up to date, what's going on in the region with regional plans and policies. So yeah, if anyone is interested.
I would be willing to do it, and I'm not going to disclose which meeting it is, but during one of those meetings, John and I will be in Belize. So.
they have phones and computers there.
I really think that I might get some marital strife if I attend the CROG meeting during.
So I,
But I'm willing to do it.
anyone else interested?
I'd be willing to be an alternate.
All right, anyone else? Well, I will entertain a motion to appoint Chris Cheney as the representative and Bob Lavin as the alternate.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You can't vote against yourself, so it's approved. And, all kidding aside, Chris, thank you very much for
Yes. Thank you.
stepping up for that. I know we're all busy, and to add another meeting to schedules is tough, but I know we've been trying to get some representation, and CROG's important because they do work not just here, they're Hartford County area and the capital region, so it's good to have Granby's voice on that. So thank you very much.
I think I agree, and I felt like it is important for CROG to have a balance of all the different kinds of communities in the area. So, I mean, I'm happy to do it.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, next, item 11, staff report and correspondence. Abby, anything to add?
Just a couple updates. I did reach out to the folks at Grassroots regarding their freezer, so it is going to be removed by January 17th. So I'll check back to make sure that has in fact happened. For 83 Salmonbrook Street, this is formerly Peppermill and later Freshies. The lease has expired for that property. It is a town-owned building. The first selectman met with the Development Commission last night to discuss that property. So I do anticipate there might be some movement on that. And of course, any change, sale, lease, any future of that property would have to come through planning and zoning for an 8-24 referral. So we'll see what happens there. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner, any comments, reports? I have some time. I have one that I want to bring up, Abby, that I noticed a couple times in coming in today. I didn't mention it to you. I was driving down today. Some of you may remember that I was very adamant about having a crosswalk put in from the new apartments to the high school. And I thank the developer and the state for putting that in. I did notice that when you're coming northbound on Route 10, they put the flashing sign and the warning sign behind telephone poles. So you can't see it.
Yeah.
So that's not the developer's fault. I don't know why, but Abby, could you check to see if that's a temporary situation, if whoever owns the telephone poles is, because it kind of defeats the purpose of a warning sign when it's behind telephone poles. So I saw it again on the way into the meeting. I was in town this afternoon and I want to bring it up. So that's all because people do same things and they don't think something. Anyway, that's all I have. Anybody else?
Sure.
All right. If there's nothing else, our next, before we go leave, I don't show anything on the agenda for the next meeting. Abby, you have that?
Correct, yep.
So at this stage, we will not be having a meeting. Our second meeting, which will be the 23rd, we will not be having a meeting. And we will wait to see what, we know we have one in the second February meeting. We'll wait to see what we have for the first February. So keep in tune for your emails and notices. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. We are adjourned.